With Rockstar absolutely dominating the news cycle lately with GTA 6, recently a lot of people have been wondering what they're actually up to outside the IP, because we all know that Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be the biggest video game launch of all time, assuming that it doesn't get delayed again. But it's not like Rockstar is going to stop there. Red Dead Redemption 2 was Rockstar's last major game release. It seems inevitable that a third game is somewhere in the pipeline. In today's video, we're going to go over everything we know so far about Red Dead Redemption 3. We'll be covering the current slate for Rockstar games, and talking about the news with GTA 6's new release window. If you're excited for RDR3, don't forget, guys, drop a like in the video, subscribe with your notifications turned on, and now let's deep dive into everything Red Dead Redemption 3. So with GTA 6's current release scheduled for May of 2026, that would put the development time at around 12 years, depending on when you think the development actually started. There's definitely been some conflicting reports as to when GTA 6's development cycle actually began, with some stating that it started early production about a year or two after GTA 5's release, which would have put it between 2014 and 2015, but others have suggested it only entered full production around 2019 or 2020. Either way, this game has been in the works for a really long time, and it's almost certainly had some kind of development overlap with RDR2. Rockstar Games is a massive company that is more than capable of working on two games at once, even though their games are a massive size and scale that they are, and with RDR2 selling a ridiculous 64 million copies since its release in 2018, I think it's safe to say that there's gonna be a third game. Narratively speaking, it's a little unclear where Red Dead Redemption 3 could take place, since Red Dead 2 was actually the prequel to Red Dead 1, and since RDR1 didn't really leave many good jumping off points. But that's not to say that Rockstar couldn't tell an entirely new story from a brand new perspective with Red Dead 3. I mean, almost every GTA game features a new cast of characters in a brand new central setting, and it's not like the Wild West is a small location. Rockstar could easily introduce a new cast of characters with RDR3 and set the game in an entirely new part of the Wild West, with a story that's taking place around the same time as the first two games, but is also completely unrelated. RDR2's map is only 29 square miles, and obviously the American Wild West was way bigger than that, so it's not like Rockstar is going to have trouble creating a brand new sandbox in a completely different region. That's definitely something that they could do. First things first, there's no way that Red Dead Redemption 3 comes out on the current generation of consoles. GTA 6 is slated for 2026 release, and several inside sources are claiming that both Sony and Microsoft are already planning their next generation of hardware, with some reports stating that the new generation could start as early as 2027, which would actually make it the 9th generation of consoles in one of the shortest times ever. But with how hard GTA 6 is expected to be pushing the hardware, I don't think there's any way that RDR3 could manage to run on the current generation of consoles, and that's also disregarding the sheer amount of time that Rockstar is going to need for this project. There's absolutely no way that RDR3 comes out before the PlayStation 6 or whatever the new Xbox ends up being called. Even some people in the community have actually theorized that RDR3 is never coming out, which, I mean, I think that's a bit of a stretch, but assuming that it is coming out, it's going to be a while before we see it. GTA 6 is going to be the biggest game in the world for several years, and the online portion is going to be an even bigger cash cow than GTA 5's online mode. Rockstar is going to be putting a ton of time, money, and manpower into making GTA 6's content and keeping that experience as smooth and as stable as possible. Meanwhile, RDR2 has kind of became a ghost town in terms of the development support. Sure, there's still tons of people still playing RDR2 both offline and online, but Rockstar almost never says anything about the game and its community, and is still waiting on the official 60 FPS update for the console versions. So while Rockstar doesn't seem to have a passionate team working on the Red Dead IP, they also definitely seem to know where their money is coming from, and I doubt that they're gonna let Red Dead Redemption take any of the spotlight in the next couple years, especially in terms once we get closer to the release of GTA 6. There's no possible way that a Red Dead Redemption 3 announcement would come out, unless of course GTA 6 by that time has made a few $billion. There was an 8-year wait between RDR1 and RDR2, which is kind of insane to think about, but it's still somehow smaller than the 13-year gap that's going to be between the GTA 5 and GTA 6 launches. Red Dead Redemption does seem to take less time to develop than a Grand Theft Auto game, and that's probably due to the more stripped back gameplay and smaller map, but this is also Rockstar we're talking about, and they're going to take their sweet time with this game, assuming that it comes out at all. If RDR3 enters development a couple years after the launch of GTA 6, it could possibly take up to 6 to 7 years in the oven, which is a pretty generous estimation, which just is insane to think about, but we could be seeing this game launch in late 2034 or even early 2035, which means we're literally 10 years out from this game and maybe even longer, but there is potentially a way to speed that up, and I'm not sure if Rockstar is going to go along with that, but it's worth talking about. Back Back in the PlayStation 2 days and the PS3 generations, Rockstar was cranking out games like it was nothing due to the fact that they had several studios around the world working on different properties. There could be a new Rockstar release every single year or every other year without sacrificing the quality of each experience. But ever since the end of the PlayStation 3 era, Rockstar has instead started having all of their studios join forces on unified projects, which has drastically toned down their release frequency, but has also greatly increased the quality of their products in terms of the graphics, polish, and amount of content in them. Rockstar is sitting on so many franchises and IPs that they could be reviving with smaller teams within the company, but they're seemingly choosing not to do that. But what if the balance between the budget and the release schedule just becomes unreasonable to maintain? What if Rockstar and their parent company Take-Two Interactive finally wake up and realize that they could be cranking out new games every couple years? And that's just if they scaled back their teams and had more people working on other smaller projects, and projects that these employees are probably more passionate about making. 2025 has seemingly been the year that the gaming industry starts realizing its mistakes. Games made by smaller teams are doing great this year, with Expedition 33, The Oblivion Remaster, and Split Fiction. These are just some of the best-selling games and most positively received games of the entire year, and they're being made by a relatively small team on relatively small budgets and are sold for $50 or less. And with the amount of manpower that Rockstar Games has around the world and the amount of budget they have access to with their parent company Take-Two Interactive, there's definitely no reason why that Rockstar couldn't be cranking out these smaller projects on a regular basis, just like they used to do back in the PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3 generations. I'm really hoping that once GTA 6 wraps up its development, we see that Rockstar goes back to this way of thinking, because we could easily have teams working on RDR3 while other teams are supporting the launch and future DLC and development of GTA 6. Perhaps others working on the development of Manhunt 3 or Bully 2, or even the return of Midnight Club. And if lowering costs and increasing profits are the main goals, this seems like the right way to do it once your big $2 billion project is finally wrapped up. Like I said, this could easily be something that Rockstar Games could go back to. They've done this in the past, it worked very well, and maybe consumers like you and myself wouldn't have to wait 10 plus years to get their next game. It's an absolutely insane idea to think that we could be getting a Rockstar game a year or a couple years apart between the development cycles of their various projects. They have so many projects that they could be working on, but they're working on one game at a time. I guess one would say quality over quantity, but let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. When do you think we're actually gonna get RDR3? It really is insane to think that we could be getting it 10 years after the launch of GTA 6, and I guess that's given if GTA 6 doesn't get pushed back again. But yeah, be sure to let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget, if you guys found this video informative and you want to help out the channel, don't forget, drop a like in the video, subscribe with your notifications turned on, and there's a video on screen now if you want to check it out. It would be much appreciated. This has been Zach with VGL. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll catch you guys in the next one.